Okay, we're going to get this party started on a pair of custom rings. So first we're going to take apart this ring. We're going to pull the diamonds. I'm going to remove the white gold crown, and then we're going to melt this down along with this ring, and we're going to mix them together. So these two bands are going to be incorporated into some gold into his new band and to her new band. So let's pull these diamonds. I'm using a kind of a beaked tool. We're gonna go in here and just pull all these prongs back and pull the diamond out. All right, we're gonna remove this crown. It's white gold, and the rings we are creating are going to be yellow gold. So let's get this white gold crown out of here. So we're gonna grab it with our tweezers and slowly heat it up until the solder flows and we can pull the crown out. And there it came out. So here are the two rings. This is one of my favorite parts about being a goldsmith, is melting and pouring gold. So here we go. We're gonna get them hot enough so they melt and then turn into a puddle. You can see this one started melting already. They both did. So we're mixing these two together so they can be combined, and this new couple can have both of these rings incorporated into their new rings so the memories go with them and they're never lost. That's one of the cool things about gold, is you can reuse it. You can melt it multiple times and reuse it, and the memory is carried on because it's the same gold as grandma or grandpa or mom or dad had. So it's pretty cool. All right, that went well. We're gonna take this clamp off and look at our piece. There it is. Right there, both rings combined, melted together, and ready for our new project. Okay, next on the agenda is we're taking our piece of gold that we poured from these two rings. We need to make some 1 x 1 millimeter square stock. We're going to use these rollers right here and get this into some square stock. So we're going to start off with the big one and run it through twice. Then we're going to bring our rollers closer together. Run it again. And it's starting to get square, but it's got to be a lot smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish this out and show you what it looks like after I have the 1 x 1 millimeter square stock. Okay, I ran it a few more times. Look at the length we've got now. So we're still not at 1 x 1 millimeter, but now I need to anneal this to soften the gold again so I can run it through these rollers again without it cracking. So we're gonna go head over to the torch and anneal it. All right, so to anneal this gold, we want to bring it to a dull red in color. And you've probably seen this on my previous videos. I do this a lot. So we get it to a dull red and then we'll quench it in water, and that'll soften the gold, and we can continue our rolling process. And when you have chunky gold like this, it takes a little bit of time. And actually, it's good to hold it. It's a dull red right now. I'm just trying to kind of hold the heat so it stays a dull red. I don't want to get it any hotter. I don't want to melt the gold. I just want it right on the edge of, you know, red. And this will anneal it too. You don't even have to quench it. You can just let it air cool after you keep it red like this for about a minute. But for time brevity, I'm going to quench it. So here we go. So we're good. We're going to quench. And there we go. Now our piece is softened. We're back at the rolling mill. So we stopped with this one. We used this this roller all the way down. Now we're going to go on to the next one because we still need to get this to be smaller. The diameter is way too big. We need 1 by 1 millimeter, and I know it's not even close to that right now. So we're going to keep going. We'll use roller number 3 now. And turn it down, make it smaller. Okay, so now we have this length, and I'm going to take a measurement. We'll see how we're doing. I'm guessing we need to go a bit yet, but let's see what we have. Yeah, 2.79. So we have a ways to go, guys. Let's continue. We'll go all the way down on our number 3 roller. Sorry, the video's getting a little shaky because the camera's connected to my bench. Now that, we really took a big bite out of it that time. Now look at how much longer that is. From that little tiny piece to this length. Isn't that cool? How you can create material with the gold. So let's see where we're at. 2.5. Okay, so we need it a lot smaller. So let's go. Now we are in our number 4 rolling spot right here. Okay, it's going pretty good. We'll have to anneal it soon. I think I can do one more pass. We'll go all the way down on our number 4 roller. Then we will have to go back and anneal this again. Because it's getting hard. It's getting work hardened. So we just want to make sure that we keep the gold soft so it's malleable. All right, here's the length we have now. Wow, that was cool. So we're back at the torch. We need to anneal this gold yet again because it was getting work hardened. Every time you roll it in those rollers, the molecules get compressed and they start, it just makes the metal too hard. It loses its malleability. So you have to anneal it, which softens it. It opens up those molecules again, so they're not so compressed. And then you can go ahead and work the gold more. So here we're getting a little too much length. So what I'm going to do is I am going to heat it up till it's red, and we're going to hold it there for about a minute. Then we will just let it air cool because I don't have something big enough to quench it in. This bowl is not big enough. So we'll just go ahead and let it air cool right here in the tweezers once I get it red. Isn't this amazing? This long piece of stock was created out of those 2 rings that we just melted a minute ago. That's what I love about metalsmithing, goldsmithing in particular, is that you can take several things, melt them together, and create something new. And if something isn't the way you want it, you literally just remelt it and do it again. So it's not like wood, you know. If you cut a piece of wood too short, you're kind of screwed. It's like you got to get a new board. But with metals, you can either weld it or remelt it and reshape it, which is nice. Not that you want to do that. You never want to have to redo something because it takes longer, but if you need to, it's available. We are at a dull red right now. It's hard to see on the camera, but it is hitting the dull red. But the piece is so long that it's hard to keep all of it that color at the same time. So I'm just going back and forth, and then we'll just let it air cool, and then we'll go back to the roller. All right, current measurement. We're at basically 2 millimeters. So we need to go another millimeter down. It's gonna get pretty small and pretty long, but we just need 3 inches of it. So I'll cut a 3-inch piece, and the rest of it we'll use for the lady's ring. This is going to be an inlay in an alternative metal ring. So there'll be a gold inlay on the center of the ring. Anyway, so here we go. It's much softer now. Much easier to roll. And look at what we're getting here. So let's check it out. Well, we didn't go down much. I'm trying to take it easy. I don't want to go too small because then we have to melt it all and do it again. Okay, now after that pass, look at how long it is. What do we have? 1.65 by 1.67. So we're getting there. Okay, back to annealing. So I did end up cutting off a piece that's like 3.5 inches because it was getting too squirrely. That other piece is like a foot long and it's just too big. So this is all we need anyway. And the rest of it's going to be melted down for the ladies' ring, so we just need to work with this piece. So I'm gonna anneal this smaller section. And we're still at like 1.5 millimeters, so we still need to go down to our 1 millimeter square. So we'll anneal it again because it was starting to get work hardened yet again. And you can see it's getting red. We don't want it too red, just dull red, and then we'll quench it this time because we have a smaller piece. And where the tweezers is, it holds the heat. It takes a little more heat because the tweezers sucks up some of my heat. All right, that's good, quench. Ready to go. All right, let's take a measurement. 1.57 by 1.6. So we have a little ways to go yet. Now I'm going to measure every single time I pass it through now, because I don't want to go too far. So what do we have? 1.44. Yeah, we're getting close, guys. And I'll probably stop a little bit above 1.1 or 1 millimeter because it needs to be finished. So we want to leave a little extra so we can make sure we get it nice and square and polished. All right, I ran the last two passes off camera, and here's where we are. 121, 120 by 120. I'm gonna stop there because my finishing process will bring it down probably the rest of the way, and I just don't want it to be too small. Hey friends, so here's what we have. This is the piece I cut off before. This is our actual dimensional piece that we need, the 1 by 1 millimeter. But look at how long that is. We only need 3 inches. So we're gonna cut it to 3. What do we got? We got 6.5. So even though I cut it to 3.5 before, it's already back to 6.5 because we compressed it and rolled it out. So I'll cut this at 3, and then the rest of it we'll use for the other ring. So I marked a line right there, and let's cut it. And as you do this long enough, you'll hear the saw almost, it changes pitch as you're almost through. Oh, there we go. All right, so this piece and this piece will melt down again, and this will be for the other ring. This one is for the men's band. This is the 1 millimeter inlay that'll be going into his alternative metal ring, and these pieces will go towards the ladies ring. When I poured that mold, there was also this little flashing in the mold, so I pulled that off. We're gonna reuse that as well. There's no sense in wasting any of this. It's heirloom material. They want to reuse all of it. So I'm doing my best to catch every little piece of it so we can reuse it all into the new rings. What we're going to do now is some pre-finishing. So I have my 3-inch piece of material here, and we're going to take some sandpaper and we're going to just smooth it out so that when we make the other ring, that it's, nice and smooth and ready to go, so we don't have to do extra steps later on. I have this sanded up to send off. This and that we will melt, and we might need to add a little more gold, I'm not sure, for the ladies ring. So I'm gonna weigh that out, but I'll probably do another video once I have the ring cast and I'll set the diamonds and you can see the final product. But as for now, that's how we create 1 by 1 millimeter square stock. And from old rings that have sentimental value, we can reuse the gold into the new ones. It's a pretty cool way of doing things. Not a lot of jewelers will do it. They want to sell you new gold, but not here. Adam the First Man will use your old gold because I know it has value to you. I know it has a lot of meaning and it holds memories. So let's go ahead and reuse your gold and cut some costs, but also have that sentimental value into your new piece.